Hello, Darren here from CallPilotCRM. In this presentation I'll be doing a very quick system overview for the CallPilotCRM system. The target audience for this presentation is non-technical personnel. It's targeted towards customers that want to review the CallPilotCRM system before signing up. So it's suitable for call centers, for resellers and also system integrators as well. In this video, we're going to be covering key concepts of how the CallPilot system works. We're going to give an overview of the administrator role, how data is imported, how you can control what your agents are currently working on. We're also going to show the agent role, how that looks like in terms of the data that can be entered into the system. We're going to cover quality agent role if you're using quality agent calls, and we're also going to have a second look at the administrator role after the agent role and the quality agent role, so that we can see how data can be exported from the system and what the statistics that can be seen from the system are like. So first of all, we're going to cover user roles, and in the user roles, let's take a quick look inside the system itself. So at the moment I'm on the administrator dashboard. There's nothing in here at the moment because there's no packages or campaigns configured. So let's just quickly switch into the user role interface anyway, so that we can have a look at the roles that are available. In the user role change interface, we've got super admin, administrator, quality agent and agent currently available. The roles that are available are based on the access rights of the user that's currently logged in. So I'm currently logged in as a super administrator, and I can see every single role that's underneath that role level. So a super administrator can add and remove users. The administrator can configure campaigns for the agents to work on. There's a quality agent that makes quality calls. Agents are actually the ones that make the calls to the customers. The reason why we have a role change interface like this is so the system is flexible enough for different size call centers. For example, some call centers may only have 2 or 3 people working there, and one person may be doing multiple roles, whereas we have customers with 30 people working there, and different people inside the company have different roles and access rights. So for example, the owner of a call center might want to be the super administrator, where he can control the users that are in the system and add and remove people and have administrative control of the office, but he might not want to delegate that to somebody else, whereas he may want to delegate the administrative options such as configuring customers and campaigns to another worker. Also, in smaller call centers, it can be that somebody that's an administrator also works as an agent as well, so they can have access to all of the different roles regardless of the role that they're configured on. Let's jump back into the presentation again. We'll talk a little bit about call flow now. With call flow, we support 2 different types of call flow models. We support call models with or without quality agent calls. With the model that's shown on the left-hand side, there's no QC involved. That means the agent actually closes the sale themselves. And on the model on the right, an agent makes an initial call to a target customer, and then the target customer will be then called again by a quality agent to confirm that a sale has occurred, and then that will form the basis of the final sale. Each of these flow models are supported by CallPilotCRM, so you can use whichever one fits your business model the best. Let's move on to data organization. Now initially this is going to look like quite a complicated diagram. Let me just break it down for you. Inside the system we have exactly this model for storing your data that you're going to work on, and for the customers, the end customer, the target customers that you're going to call. So in our system we have a customer basis, which is, let me just switch back to the main interface here. So we have in our system customers, campaigns, work packages, and within work packages upload sets. Now a customer would be somebody, for instance, let's say you have a customer that works in the IT industry and sells laptops, called Rob's Laptops. Rob's Laptops would be your customer. Now Rob could have many different campaigns that run depending on what they're currently selling or which pieces of information they want to give to their target customers. So for example, they might run a campaign if they were selling a new laptop. or a new series of laptops, and within that they might want to have work packages which separate people either by age or by geographical area, so they can split up their work packages accordingly as they so wish. And then within those work packages they can have multiple upload sets, and upload sets are effectively Excel spreadsheets. Now that's a lot of information to take in one go, but I'll show it to you inside the system shortly when we look at the administrative role. There is another presentation which goes into far more detail about how to configure your campaigns and all of the available options that are there, but that's too much detail for this short overview video. So without further ado, let's crack on with looking at the administrative role. Now we're going to have a look at what the administrator role does, about configuring campaign, uploading data, assigning agents to work on that data, and how priority lists work. So now let's start by creating a customer. So here we are in our CallPilot system, so I'll click on customers, and we can see here that the customers interface is currently empty, so I'll add a new customer. So I think we were talking about Rob's laptops, and of course the name of the person is Robert, and laptop guy, and let's give him an email, rob@laptopguy.com, and put a sample telephone number in. Right, okay, so we've created our first customer. Now let's give that customer a campaign. So our customer, Rob's Laptops, is selling his latest new laptop, and when we're constructing this campaign, we have various options that we can see here. So for instance, do we need bank information? We're not going to show health fields because this isn't anything to do with private health insurance. And then we have some custom fields. So I'll switch on the custom fields. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail about that on this presentation, but there is another technical presentation showing you how to configure these things in more detail. But let's switch that on just for the time being. Okay, so now we've got Rob's Laptops. It's a new campaign. So let's click on our eyeball here and examine it in more detail. So you can see we've got the campaign details here. We've got no work packages configured, we've got the custom fields, and we've got some product definitions. So the product definitions, these are the things that the customer's actually going to sell. So let's add some of these. So we're going to add a super laptop and a mega laptop and a standard. Okay, so now we've got these in the system. Now, I don't know about you, but super and mega, they seem to be in the wrong order. So I'd like to have mega at the top, super, and then standard. So you can just click on these edges here and drag and drop things on the interface to reposition them so the products are all in the correct order that you want them. Okay, so now we've got mega, super, and standard laptops configured, and we need a custom field here. So let's add a custom field, and let's ask the customer what their current laptop is when the agent's talking to the customer. Add that in there. So now we've got that shown in form. We've got the current laptop there. So let's go back to our campaign. Right, so we've got customers configured, campaign setup, we've got product information, and we've got a custom field there that will be shown to the agent. So let's add a work package. So this work package is going to be Cambridge. There's a geographical area that we're going to sell our laptops to. Of course, that's completely arbitrary. I've just chosen Cambridge because that's one way of configuring the system, is to use it for a geographical area, but you can call your work packages and split your work up however you like. At the moment, we've got no agents working on this work package, and we've got no data in it. So let's first of all add some data. Now, when we're uploading data, the system is configured to automatically add prefixes to your phone numbers. So it will remove any zeros from the start of the phone number that you wish to call and add this prefix in. So you don't have to pre-edit your spreadsheets containing your phone data. The system will do it automatically for you. So I'm going to add 0044 because we're going to be phoning through a SIP system, so we need to add the international code. And I'm going to pick a file to upload some data. Right, okay, so that's the data's been imported. So it gets queued up and processed in turn. So the system's completed importing, and you can see here that my phone numbers have all got 0044 in front of them. That's been automatically done. Now, when the system's importing the data, the importer is quite intelligent, and it tries to check if there's any duplicates of these telephone numbers within the same campaign. So duplicate telephone numbers, there's two different types of duplicates that the system tries to detect. Duplicates with the same phone number, but also duplicates where it's the same person with the same address with multiple telephone numbers. So for instance, when you're calling to Germany, it's very often people have ISDN telephone numbers, and they will have 4 or 5 telephone numbers all linking to the same person. Of course, when you're selling products, you don't want to call the same person 5 times for the same thing, otherwise you'll just annoy them. So it's much better if the system filters that out. So that's automatically done. And as I said, this duplicates detection is done on a per campaign basis, so you can export these numbers or re-import these same numbers in a different campaign and they won't be detected as duplicates. So it's only on a per campaign basis. So if you want to resell to the same people in 6 months' time, great, no problem. Create a new campaign and off you go. You can see currently this upload set is inactive, and now we need to activate these numbers before agents will be able to call them. This is done this way so that you can freely switch on and switch off data as you wish, and also it's a good idea to check your numbers and check that you've imported correctly before you activate and let the agents start calling. So let's just activate these numbers now. Okay, so now we go back to our work package. So now we've got our work package all set up, we've got some data inside there, but we haven't got anybody assigned to work on the project yet. So let's assign an agent to it. So there's only one agent available in this system, and that's me. I'm the video user, and I'll select myself and say continue. And now if you look, we've got an agent, video, who's online, who's assigned into this work package. That's great. So we've got our customer, our campaign, and inside the campaign we've got a work package and we've got an upload set all ready to go. So that means we should be ready to start calling to a customer. Now, one more thing that I wanted to cover before we go any further. Let's just quickly have a look at the data that's here. Now, inside this data, we've got various first names. First names are usually demographically splitting up people between generations. So for instance, some names are usually more associated with the older generation and some names are more associated with the newer generation. And to acknowledge this, inside the CallPilot system, we allow you to prioritize names. So for example, let me just go in here and add a priority list. So I've already added a priority list. We've got a priority list of younger people's names prioritized first, and it's names since 1970. So say for instance I was going to try to call younger people first, or it's more important to speak to younger people about say a technological gadget like a laptop. Maybe I want to call those people first and it's not such a priority to call maybe an older generation. Or you can do this the other way around as well and say, well, if it's daytime, you want to prioritize speaking to older people first because they're more likely to be reached, and then maybe at 5 p.m. reprioritize your call list to younger people's names because they're more likely to be at home in the evening because they've just come home from work. So we can do that. So all we need to do is, once we've got our priority lists loaded, we select our work package, we pick our upload set and say prioritize calls, and then I select this. And now all of my calls are automatically prioritized, and it puts the younger people's names first in the queue to be called by the agents. Okay, so let's switch back now to our presentation. Right, so we've covered creating a campaign, uploading data, assigning agents and priority lists. So now it's a good time to actually have a look at the agent role because we've got all that data ready for the agent to call. So let's change to the agent role. Now, in the agent dashboard, the first thing that the agent sees every time they log in or whenever they click the dashboard button is they see a status of their current calls. They see their own calls, but they also see a graph showing them how the other workers are doing in terms of their sales. So this is created in this way to encourage the agents to work harder and compete against each other to get better results. It also serves as a trust feature. So many of the call centers we work with have workers that work remotely. They work from their houses and they never meet other agents. So one of the things that call centers like that need is they need trust, so that, for example, if there's been a lot of cancellations, they can feel that maybe, oh, I'm getting a lot of cancellations by QC, that maybe there's some fraud or something going on. The call center is trying to trick me out of my sales. But actually, what you can do then is, if the agents see how other agents are performing against how they are, then it gives them a comfort feeling to understand that other agents are experiencing the same things that they are, so that they understand if there's been maybe they're calling into a difficult area where agents are getting cancellations, that they see that other agents are experiencing the same things, or that they see that, okay, I need to make X hundred number of calls in a day to achieve the success that XYZ agent has achieved. So it's a comfort feature as well. Let's make a call on the system. Okay, so I've gone into the call interface, and you see first thing that's happened is that my X light has popped up, and it's establishing a phone call to this number. I'm just going to close that. This is a demo system anyway, it's not going to call anybody, but I'll just close that and get it out of the way so that we can see the form underneath. Right, so what have we got? We've got some customer information. These are the standard fields that the CallPilot CRM system supports. We've got the bank account information that we switched on earlier on in the campaign. We've got this custom field that we added. Now, it's got some data already populated into it. It's only there because it was in the demonstration data that I loaded up into the system earlier. Let's populate something in there that it makes more sense. For instance, let's add Lenovo in there as a laptop make. And let's say that the customer is interested in a mega laptop, and that the sale is okay, and deliver on 31st. So that means that the customer is happy, they're AG okay. So let's save and go to the next customer. Again, you see my X light pop up and it initiates the call for me. So instantly I'm as fast as possible onto the next call. Again, we've got another customer here. Now let's say we start talking to Dennis, and he tells us he's got an Acer laptop, that he's interested in a super or a standard laptop, but he has to ask a question to maybe his wife before he makes the final purchase, so he requests a callback. So let's make a callback appointment, and we'll set it for later today in an hour's time. Okay, and we say here, not sure, needs to ask his partner about the purchase. Okay, so we've got our recall callback, we've got a callback appointment, and then let's save this and go to the dashboard for a moment. Right, so we're back on our dashboard, and you can see here straight away that the recall appointment is already ticking away here, telling me how long I've got left before I need to go and call this customer back. So that's a helpful feature for the agent to keep them on top of their callback calls. Of course, the agent doesn't have to wait until this callback expires. They can call a little bit before or a little after, whatever is appropriate for them. So if we have a look in our follow-up calls interface, we can see Ivor's in there. Let's call him back. So hang up that call. And let's say, okay, this time his sale is okay. And now we know that he wants the mega instead. And on second. Okay, so got some information in there, and we can see our recall appointments are finished now, and so on. So the agent just keeps going like this, phoning people up and processing products as necessary. Okay, and then when they're finished, so let's say for instance this one was another sale okay with a super laptop, and we'll just save and go to dashboard. So now we've made a few calls. So you can see we've done 4 calls. One of them was the callback as well, and we've got 3 agent OKs in there. That's great. So if we have a look at the statistics quickly, you can see a bit more of a breakdown of what happened or what's going on with the calls. We've also got statistics for yesterday, this week, last week, this month, last month, that we can have a look at as well. But these statistics at the moment will be empty, because everything other than today is calculated as your call center rolls over midnight. So of course, as we've just made these calls, there's not going to be any data in those ones at the moment. I'll cover the QC results after we've had a look at the quality call interface. So let's switch to the quality agent role. And now we can see straight away on our quality dashboard that we've got some agent call information, and we've also got some QC call information here, so the quality agents can keep an eye on what's going on with the agents, as well as seeing their own results for the day, or the results of the QC team for the day. So if I click on the call queue, we can see we've got 3 calls in there, and they're prioritized in the order that you would normally want to call them in. So the earliest called person is at the top and the last called person is at the bottom. So let's call the top one. So now we would talk to this customer, and we can see here we're in which work package we're dealing with. So we've got Rob's laptops, and it's the new laptop campaign, and we're talking to Margaret Randall, and Margaret's asked for the mega laptop, and we have a chat with her, and she says, yes, I'd like it, but actually I've changed my mind, I want to have the super laptop instead. So we changed that, and we had some sale okay, super laptop required, not mega. Okay, now so we have to say QC sale okay. And there we go. And she's gone from the queue. She's in our sales interface now, which we'll have a look at in a moment. Let's go back to the calls queue. So let's call Ivor, and we call Ivor and have a chat with him. And what we find out is Ivor actually has changed his mind. So he decides not to carry on. So we put him in as a cancelled. Didn't understand the offer properly. Now we're putting these QC comments in here so that we can feed back to the agents about what it is that went wrong with the sale. So we save, and that goes back then out of the queue. So let's go in again so let's have a lock it to my agent now and make a call. So I'm calling Inez this time, and I'm chatting to Inez, and she's not answering her phone. Okay, so let's pop it back, and you can see Inez has gone back on the queue. She's at her call time when she was last called, and then we wait a little while and let's call again. So now we're trying to talk to Inez again, but you can see here in our call log it's automatically recorded that we've already phoned her and there was a no answer response. And let's say this time we get through and it's a sale okay. She wants the super laptop, everything's fine. Sale okay. Okay. Everything clear. Okay, great. So we save that and return to the QC call queue. Now let's have a quick look at our sales interface. Now we can see our 2 sales that we made today, along with the call times, who the customer was, the product that they wanted. We can quickly nip back in and have a look at the information that's there as well if there's any queries about it. If we have a look at our QC statistics, we can see that there's been 2 QC OKs and 1 cancellation, how many calls have been made, and so on. It's very similar to the agent calls, but just with QC calls in mind. So let's change role again and nip back to the agent role. And now we can see in the agent interface that we can see that we've got our QC OK2 and we've got 1 cancellation there. If we go into the QC results, you can see that the QC comments are there, sale OK, didn't understand the offer, and so on. And you can see the QC results as well. So with that in mind, let's go back to look at the administrator role. So now, if we look at the administrator dashboard, we see now that we've got some results in here for the current campaign. We've got 3 AGOKs, we've got 2 QCOKs. In our work package, we can see that there's been 8 calls made for that work pack, which includes the QC and AG calls. We can see how many numbers we've not called, open calls, how many times we've cycled through the data set that's available, and so on and so forth. How many agents are working there. Gives us a basic stats overview. This area will only show active work packages, so things that are currently being worked on with agents present. If there was other work packages available, they would be available in the work package statistics page. It's the same stats as on the front page. You can hover over each of the items if you want to get an idea for what they are. Let's have a look at the reports. So now we've got 2 different types of reports available. We've got call results. Now call results can be agent only, quality agent only, or agent and quality agent if you want to export them all. These call reports are intended to be used as your invoicing or sales tool, so that you know what to invoice your clients for the work that you've done or for the sales that you've achieved. So you just select the period that you're interested in and then see the results set, and then you can export the calls as an Excel spreadsheet. And if we have a look at the other report type that's available, we've got data export. Now when we go to data export, we can select a campaign, select a work package in the campaign, and then click export to export a set of data. This is exported in a format where it can be directly re-imported into the system at a later date. So for example, if you exported all your data and picked out all the clients that you'd already sold to out of the Excel spreadsheet, what you can do then is at a later date, maybe 6 months later, re-import it into the system in a new campaign and call all those people again and maybe sell them something else. So we've reached the end of our system overview. We've looked at the basic features of the system for the administrator, the quality call agent, and the system administrator. So that brings us to the end of this video. So I want to say thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, please talk to your sales representative or the technical support team. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.